What's up with these Chucky dolls, man? What's up with these Chucky dolls, man? Y'all left some great comments. We about to get them. We talking incubator babies. And please don't be offended by the incubator baby drop. I said, please don't be offended by the incubator baby drop. This is not to offend you, nobody. You know what I'm saying? We got some hijacks coming over here. What you mean we all come from incubator? Chill out, hijacks. You know what I'm saying? We said clearly everybody's different, right? You got some lines of folks that come from, you know what I'm saying, Naga DNA, right? They got a soul, and you got some soullessness going on too. Now, this is a wake-up call because there's millions of these things being created that are artificial. They're not natural. I mean, let's just be real. We could talk about it since we in it for truth, right? We got to tell the truth about ourselves. We got to tell the truth about you. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Either way, you got to choose up. Either way, you got to choose up. So let's talk Chucky dolls. Y'all saw the movie Chucky, man. Hey, right in our face bone, right? Right in our face bone. And of course, they got a cover story. Just remember what we covered last time. Then we're going to go to the cover story. And then we're going to talk some mind-blasting Jerry Seinfeld drop. Lego.
Fighting over them. Now, the origins of Cabbage Patch Kids go way deeper than toy shelves. Ever hear of the orphan trains, baby incubators, massive numbers of children, many just infants, were mysteriously shipped across the U.S. and beyond. No birth records, no names, just appearing out of nowhere and handed to new families. Where did they come from? Officially, they were abandoned or given up. But millions? Some believe the adoptions weren't always legal. Others believe these kids weren't even naturally born. That's where the World's Fairs come in. These weren't just technology expos. They had entire exhibits of babies in incubators. They called it a medical breakthrough, but these weren't premature infants.
Okay, so he's covering the cover story. I wanted to get it back a little bit for a stack a little bit. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Last drop. So again, what's the cover story, right?
That's where the World's Fairs come in. These weren't just technology expos.
So the World's Fair is the cover, right, location. These are big technology expos. And part of the cover story is that these things are saving lives, right? Premature babies. They got so many premature babies. You know, Coney Island got their cover story. Everybody got preemies. Everybody's saving the preemies. When have you known these people to be saving anything? You know what I'm saying? They're always trying to hit it up. You know what I mean? They're always trying to put some serum in these babies, right? If anything, they got Planned Parenthood. They trying to, you know, all this abortion stuff, right? They ain't tripping on saving no preemies worldwide at this time. Oh, one doctor in Coney Islands, he's all about saving the preemies. But what about all the other world fairs, right? Are they all interested in saving preemies? Or what? Are they displaying the first AI, right? Are they displaying the alchemical serpent that's just now bursting into consciousness? The creation of opposites is the Cadmus, and that's the only way to slay the alchemical dragon. We covered alchemy. This has everything to do with alchemy. I'm gonna read y'all comments because y'all talking alchemy right in your Facebook. Now, what's the cover story, right? These are some preemies. These doctors are saving lives. Same thing they say, you know what I'm saying, about everything they do, that they're saving lives. You know, we got to put this thing in your arm because it's going to save life. If not, you know what I'm saying, you're just some out of control person that has no morals. Oh, why? You didn't line up to get this mystery serum. You must not, you must be inconsiderate, right? You must not be considering other people because you didn't want the mystery serum in your arms, right? And then they say, oops, it was just an experiment. Oops, this don't really help nothing. I mean, it's supposed to be more preventative and yada, yada, yada. All right, let's check out the cover story.
They had entire exhibits of babies in incubators. They called it a medical premature infants.
So they were saying it's a medical breakthrough, right? Especially with the Coney Island situation. Oh, it's a breakthrough. He's able to find some science to save the premature babies. This was their cover story so that they felt like it was something safe and good. But meanwhile, they over here buying these babies. Now, what happened to all the premature baby mothers and daddy? You're telling me that these people having such great masses of babies worldwide that they're just dropping them off random places. Everyone's abandoning their babies. And that's how the orphan trains got here. That's how the orphan trains popped off. Because everybody abandoned their babies at the same damn time, at the same damn age. They all grew up together like Cabbage Patch Kids. Somebody told me to drop Rugrats, right? It was a Rugrats, man. All this stuff, man. Garbage Pail Kid, all this stuff, man. We're going to hear from Jerry Seinfeld. It's about to be mind blasting.
They were being artificially gestated, artificial wombs, mass baby production. And guess what? The live infant incubator exhibits were among the most popular attractions, drawing millions. People lined up to watch these babies just like they later lined up to buy Cabbage Patch Kids. And here's where it all connects. Cabbage Patch Kids weren't just a toy fad, they were conditioning. They took the orphan trains, the incubator babies, the idea of children with no origins, and rebranded it as something innocent and fun. Instead of questioning the past, people were trained to see mass baby distribution as normal. Even the branding is suspicious. Why do these dolls grow from a cabbage patch? Why do they just appear from the ground?
Popping up.
That's not how babies are born, but it is how foundlings were treated in the past. So, what were they really normalizing? Was it just a clever marketing gimmick, or were they covering their tracks? The remnants of an evil beginning for a new nation with no history, built on the destruction of an old empire that held the technology to free us from enslavement.
World fairs and even in New York's Coney Island. Can you even imagine carnival attractions where people paid to watch babies growing in incubators? Where were the parents? What happened to all of the babies?
Where were the parents? And now you got these postcards. First love to Remedy H, man, for this drop again. And shout out to Mind Unveil, man, who did this, covered this before, man. I mean, I'm late to the party, but it sure does assist our investigation. Because these particular babies that are born in these machines and being put on trains and shipped to whoever wants to embrace them. And some people going back in their family trees like, is that why my grandma, they said they had 24 children, but I don't think she gave birth to 24 children. It's like some orphan trains were coming and she took 2 or 3 kids because they was orphans. They're just orphans. That's how they sold them. They have a birth certificate. They're preemies. They need mothers and daddies. No, they are machine babies. They are alchemical serpents just now bursting into consciousness. But they are soulless. And this is how they populated the world, repopulated these desolate areas that they killed off all these Indians after the Indian Wars. All this is after the Chickamauga Wars. 1900s, now they hanging us, right? Now they hanging us. 1800s too, right? Before that, it's just Naga Indian War popping off. 1812 Tecumseh War. But it's the same time they popped off the World Fairs. We got to factor in the Chickamauga Cherokee Wars, 1776. We got to factor in that Morris Treaty flow, because I'm sure they had something to do with this. If we're talking Atlantis, right? And Morris for Mars. And how come ain't none of these no black babies, right? Ain't no black babies. What, it don't work on the black melanated baby? Huh? All these preemies are from Caucasians? Is you crazy? Where's the black preemies, right? We don't exist no more because they don't want to repopulate with us. But you got these storks, right? Because now you got all this Disney stuff and these storks are dropping babies off everywhere to a point where mothers are telling their daughters, oh, well, a stork dropped you off. But that was true. They just got dropped off on the orphan train. Oh, how are babies made? They just drop out the sky, boss. They just pop out the ground, boss. And they're all Caucasian. And if they was doing this here, were they not doing it over there already in Europe? Moors? Did they create a slave race? And then kick them over here? Make us face our opposites coming together of opposites? Did they sick them on us? And those are the ones that got off boats, but they're still not the European? Because even they was test tube incubator babies? I mean, this is uncomfortable truth, but we gotta ask. Y'all been telling us to go to Africa this whole time. Can we not ask about your origin? This is a scientific, investigation. We're asking scientific questions, man. We need repeatable and observable evidence on this. We need a witness. Can I get a witness? My naga, Halal HaWah, man. I'm just seeing clearly with y'all. 369 dragonfly perspective. Let's go, man. Come on, man. We're the Naga babies. So all their parents are just popping out and leaving them, huh? And they got nothing to do with these incubators. They're just saving the preemies. They're just saving the preemies. Sounds like a cover story, right?
Well, have you heard of the orphan trains?
Managa, these are real orphans. And you're going to hear Jerry Seinfeld about to say both of his parents are orphans. I can't make this shit up. And that they was just running around the streets like the Rugrats with no parents. He's going to tell you this. And I want you to remember these faces. Because one of them is Seinfeld's peoples, man. One of these are Seinfeld's people. Which gives us a deeper question. Did they grow these people, right? Grow them, right? Like the Matrix, right? And then turn them into celebrities, right? Did they hand pick them, right? The ones they grew, and that's who's running Hollywood and the music and all this stuff. That's who's, you know what I mean? But they're not the ones really behind the veil, right? Because it's still a more and more war. I don't want you to get off target with that. I want you to see clearly. Behind the veil is a Naga that look just like you. And they use these people as a straw man. And they make them like landlords, custodians. Dizzle Fitty take the wheel. Now we got custodians to talk about. They make them landlords, right? On our land, but they're not kings and queens. They'll give them the titles. They'll call them Cherokee. They'll call them all kind of ishes. This ish, that ish. And we've been trying to give them, pity. Like, we've been trying to say, okay, I'll give you the title European. I'll give you the title Caucasian. I'll give you, the title Cedar Gomer, right? Ashkenaz. Nazis. Pure race. They want a pure race. All of a sudden, you want a pure race? Aryan? You want Aryan too? You want Indian? You want American? Oh, I get it. You want American. And you want to call us African American. Very clever, because all this is Afra. All this is earth. All this is dust. These are orphan babies. Incubator babies. And when they get of age, they ship them to whatever area needs so-called white people, right? But we're not talking WHITE, which means pure in the dictionary. We're talking WIGHT. You go look it up. I'm talking White Walkers, man. I'm talking Game of Thrones, man. And this is a Game of Thrones. But this ain't no gang. You know what I'm saying? You at war. You a prisoner of war. You ain't from Africa. You a prisoner of war. And they repopulated your areas after they killed your ancestors. Continued to hang them on trees, right? But who's behind them? The same more war that made the Moorish treaties to begin with. That sided up with this corporation. Against the Kumse, against Dragon Canoe, Dracan Canoe, and the Chickamauga Cherokee, Karakatai, land of Prester John. They was against the Prester from the top, because the Prester made them pay tribute. They wanted just to be in the court of King David. All this just happened, man. They was against King David. The Christians against King David, the Muslims against King David. All of them are against King David, right? All of them are against Prester John, because he's the truth. We're talking about the code, man, keeping the code. They're codeless, they're soulless. You could look in their eyes. And they repopulate the world with these people. And they don't make up all Caucasian, so-called. But we're like, even in the Caucasus, you got black Caucasians, right? You got Naga bones you digging out. In Spain and Europe and France and Italy, swarthy, right? Swarthy. Even Benjamin Franklin told us this. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. And now they hanging us with their soulless eyes, like Chucky dolls. We're stating the obvious. We ain't being racist. How you gonna call us racist when we've been victimized, man? By soulless beings and soulless people who are asking the question, where did these soulless come from? If you look so-called Caucasian, if you look so-called white, and you got a soul, I ain't talking to you, boss. If you got an inner monologue, I ain't talking to you, boss. But not everyone has an inner monologue, which we about to get again. This is why I had to run this back and repeat part of this Remedy H drop like it's the first time. Because he said like less than half the population or something has an inner monologue. And you got to think, what people don't have an inner monologue, don't have a voice inside, right? A soul, which lets you know the importance of your inner monologue. Now, it don't mean that every voice you hear is the inner monologue, but it means that when you meditate, you get to know yourself. You quiet those other sounds and you find yourself. And this is the moral to the story. That's when X marks the spot, and that's when you tribing up with you, my noggin. That's when you tribing up with you, my noggin. Get to know your inner monologue, man. Connect to HaWah, right? The source, the voice, the sound, the word. They don't got that word. Word up. They don't got that word. They don't got no inner monologue, boss. You're dealing with someone who's soulless and hollow inside. There's nothing there. There's no voice. There's no connection. There's no creator. So they make up one. They invent one. Jesus, Jesus. Now all of them believing in JC. Now all of them go to church on a Sunday. That's the best they can do to get an inner monologue. It's a cover story, boss. Yeah, it's making them shaking their boots, quaking their boots. Cause they like, do I really need to dig on my family tree? Cause there's a reason why they don't even know too much about their history. And now I get it. They don't even know. You talking about, so what's your history in Europe since you're Europe? Man, what? They ain't been to Europe. They ain't been to Europe, man. They hope to take a vacation like you. It's sad, but it's true. Orphan trains, boss.
Orphan trains. They were packed packed off and shipped out west to help repopulate the great Tartarian cities found abandoned across the land.
We're in Greater Tartaria, so this is Nagaville. They came to populate Nagaville, and they say a cheaper way, other than sending millions, which it probably didn't even have in Europe. A few came on boats, but they probably came out of incubators too. We don't know. We don't know. We got to ask how many incubatoration-ness is going on, right? So they don't come from Europe. And they would just say, we're American. Now they bang America so hard, and now you understand why. Because this is all they know. But just like the dog heads that would claim to be indigenous Americans because their dog head tribes were created in Atlantis or created here in Egypt, right? So they would claim America too. The dog heads would claim to be indigenous too. So with these orphan babies, incubator babies, they would claim to be indigenous too. Because they only know America. So they're red, white, and blue, yada, yada, yada. They're fighting for their homeland. This is their homeland. They stick together. They want a pure race, right? Because they can get mixed out in a heartbeat. That's why they hate you, because you're natural. But you didn't know why they hate you so much. It's because they're soulless. Soulless, boss. And this last reset was their last, super genocide push, man. You know what I'm saying? They've continued the same thing, but, this is the solidifying of this recent takeover, 1776 situation, Tecumseh War situation, Chickamauga, Cherokee, Nagaville invasion, man. And this is their army that they grew. And it was cheaper to just grow them here, like Cabbage Patch dolls, than to put them on boats. And again, you got to ask, well, what about I got to ask. I'm not, it's okay, right? I'm not saying you're doomed, or we asking a question. Don't hide now. You like coming over here to the drop when we talking about ourselves and digging on, figuring ourselves out. I'm asking about you today, okay? We're taking a break from us. Talk about you. And then we're going to talk about us again, because that's the favorite thing. That's our favorite thing to do. We're going to go inside. We're going to talk elixir fields. Or we're going to talk superpowered Nagas, man. And we're going to keep talking about superpowered Nagas, man. Super solar flashes, right? Radiation, you call it, right? So what about the non-melanated Japanese, non-melanated Chinese, non-melanated Korean, yada, 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 right? Since we also know, just like Europe, that the indigenous Japanese, first of all, Kapangu Japanese, Japan is over here, as we already know on our maps. And China's over here too. So it's a body bag for the illusion. Even on their walls, right? Even on the walls in Mexico with the Mayan flow, Palenque flow, we see melanated Nagas on their walls, just like their Chinese Buddhas and melanated Naga. Back to India, same thing. So we in India superior. We gotta ask the non-melanated Asian, so-called, did they have their own incubator baby situation? Is that how they repopulated certain areas after they killed off a bunch of Nagas in Japan over there, in China over there, when we know that the indigenous Chinese, Japanese was melanated? So how did we get a whole other race that's claiming to be the Chinese, claiming to be the Japanese, claiming to be the Korean, claiming to be all the European, when the original European, the Asiatic, is a Naga, man? We know that's not hard to. Come on, man. This ain't. Don't try to tell me that we asking something. We ain't asking nothing difficult. Y'all got the incubators, man. Y'all got the world fairs with our architecture that you're using as a straw man to tear down our beautiful architecture that you're finding here in the promised land, man. Now you're acting like you built it in 6 months and tore it down after the World Fair. And then before you do, you're going to have your expos and sell a bunch of Cabbage Patch Kids. And then put them on orphan trains. And we can't ask a question about these soulless eyes? Let's get it back for a stack, man. This ain't no play. We finding answers today. Let's go.
They were packed off and shipped out west to help repopulate the great Tartarian cities found abandoned across the land. They were sent to humongous orphanages, and the people were able to get orphans to work their farms and factories. Free labor was abundant, and it was...
Because they were the slaves, not us. We were fighting them. We're prisoners of war, if that. But we weren't the slaves. They made their slaves.
Needed to rebuild after the last reset. There is loads of evidence showing that the original Cabbage Patch Kids were these orphans which people just simply picked up and took home like fresh produce. Many children were basically indentured servants and were subjected to lifelong slavery and sexual abuse. Everything they taught you is a lie. America,
I ain't seen one Naga baby yet.
Was covered with empty Tartarian cities, left to rot after the Great Reset, and those that followed grew a few millions babies to repopulate and rebuild.
Millions, and that was in the 1800s. You're in 2025. That's their great-great-grandparents, man. And look at the architecture that they claim they built just for a fair expo. But they can't even reproduce this architecture today. Look at the details. You think they're going to build this just to tear it down? That's like building a Disneyland and then tearing it down in 6 months. Hell nah. That's not even cost efficient. Why would they put all that into the... I mean, what? Look at these antennas. Look at the ether. The magnetism. These things lit up themselves. These are old Nagaville cities. Look at this beautiful architecture. And then they tore it all down. And never built nothing that's beautiful since in 200 years.
They dug out those cities and started over.
Look at that.
Researched Tartaria and asked questions. Suspend your...
Dodge the hijack. Sister broke it down. Y'all got this last time. I just want to get this part with this, let's just let it flow. No souls.
A solution to countries that are suffering from severe population decline. They advertise that their facilities have 75 highly equipped labs, each lab accommodating up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs.
They not like us.
Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single facility can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. The pods are equipped with a screen that displays real-time data.
So now instead of the World Fairs, they're just doing it right in your face, bone.
On the developmental progress of your baby. This data is sent directly to your phone so you can track your baby's health. This app also provides you with a high-resolution live view of your baby's development. A special section in the app allows you to watch a time-lapse of your baby's growth. Would you use an artificial womb facility?
Let us ask me why their grandparents or great-grandparents never talked about the reset. Why don't they remember anything about it? Well, let me try to explain it. First, there were the Cabbage Patch babies. Now, these weren't just toys, you see. They became a symbol of something much bigger, a massive repopulation effort after the reset. These babies, they weren't born the usual way. They were produced almost mechanically in large numbers and distributed through a cold, efficient system. Strange, isn't it? It brings to mind ideas like cloning, doesn't it? Maybe that's why today you see so many folks who just seem to go with the flow. No questions, no thinking. Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue?
internal monologue. And that's not your population, because they're not talking about you. They're not talking to you. You don't see one black baby, so-called. They're talking about them, which means half of them are soulless. Half, my nigga.
Nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue. Imagine that. The population doesn't even have an internal monologue. Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue? Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue?
I'm tripping. Because I go out every day, I see these people. And sometimes, you know what I mean, like you might stop when you're driving and let somebody go or let somebody cross. You know, you're waiting patiently. They don't even acknowledge you. Not that you need a hand clap, but as a soul would, like, thank you for holding traffic for me to get across the street, or holding the door open, or, you know, these type of things, or, you know what I mean, just soulful type things. You talk to them and it's just, man, they ain't flowing, you know what I mean, with anything deeper. They can only stay to the surface of things. They don't have no internal monologue. What does it mean to you? Can y'all leave a comment? Let me know what an internal monologue means to you. Do you talk to yourself? Do you communicate with you? Or is it just nothing in there? No voice, no thought. No thought.
No questions, no thinking. Did you know they say nearly half the population doesn't even have an internal monologue? Imagine that. Living life with a quiet mind, just following along. Those babies, those orphan trains, they were shipped off, along with abandoned children who had survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America. And when they got there, they were given a new story, the official version of history. No elders left to tell them the truth. Nobody to
Now remember this, because you're about to get the Jerry Seinfeld drop. You know what I mean? They didn't have no parents to tell them the truth. They just got some type of story, and they went with it to this day. So if you ask them, they'll be like, oh, well, my great-granddad came from Poland in 18 such and such, and he picked himself up by his own bootstrap. He only made 10 cents a week. All this story that they were told and was passed down to make it feel like they have a history, but they are a mystery. But not no more. They are incubator babies.
No elders left to tell them the truth. Nobody to remember how things used to be. It made them easier to control, you see. Easier to accept the new narrative.
They dropped them.
What?
Motherfucking turn off on them orphan trains on us. We became they motherfucking babysitters.
Whoa, they just dropped them even on the Naga families. Don't you hear these stories about so-called, Caucasian white person, you know what I'm saying, being raised by a so-called black family, and then they end up taking over the plantation, but they remember that Mammy kind of raised them, you know what I'm saying? So they're cool with Mammy, but they're still hard on the slaves. Like, you know what I mean? You hear this stuff, man. And he's saying they just dropped them right on their front porch, man, like a stork.
Turn off on them orphan trains on us. We became they motherfucking babysitters and teachers. The scientists couldn't teach these crazy bitches net. They was made 1 year old in a fucking hour. Tell me believe what the...
And we got that before. Somebody else said that they were 1 year old. Actually, the sister just said that. It was 1 year old at birth. Like, they grew full-term babies in 12 hours. Then the hospital adopted it. Whoa. So when they went to these World Fair expos, these were just new babies being pumped out like every day. Like, they was just picking them up. If nobody bought them, like, they would just put them on the train, ship them out, drop them in front of people's porches. Hey, baby, 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 baby. Get your baby, get your baby. Again, I don't want no incubator puppy, dog, cat. I don't want no clone cat, no clone dog. What the hell? You give me a soulless baby. And we had to teach her? This is deep. I wasn't expecting this to be deeper than deep. I'm trying to talk Danchian fields and Jen and she and Shishia and Shin. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to the Mopai, the 72 levels. We got to start at level 1 before we get the fireballs in our hands. And so I just stumbled on Incubator drop. You know what I'm saying? Love the remediation. Let's go.
We became they motherfucking babysitters and teachers. The scientists couldn't teach these crazy bitches net. They was made 1 year old in a fucking hour.
Whoa.
Yeah, believe what they tell you. Have you heard of the Orphan trains? It was a covert operation to repopulate and reshape the American Midwest. This is as dark and scary as it sounds.
Dark and scary, so don't act like we tripping for asking a freaking question, and don't come over here saying y'all racist. Why are you saying this about white people? What are you talking about? This is your history. If it's not all of you, it's at least 50% that don't have an internal monologue. And if it's 50%, that means it's part of your history. Because if 50% of black people are affected by something, it's a part of us. Even the stuff they give us, right? Even the sickle cells and, you know what I'm saying, all the whole Tuskegee experiment syphilis, that's a part of us. That's a part of our, you know what I'm saying, tragedy, atrocities, a part of our hardship, a part of the hijack we had to endure. So don't act like this ain't got nothing to do with you. This got something to do with all y'all. Because even if you're not one, most likely one got married into your family to preserve the WIGHT race. Have you looked up the definition of WIGHT yet? WIHT? Yeah, there's multiple whites, right? But English is a forked tongue language, so it has dual meanings all over the place, right? So you're going to have to dodge the hijack, and you're going to have to choose up, and you better see clearly. Incubator patent. Incubator patent grew full-term babies in 12 hours. This is a patent. I can't make this shit up.
Between 1854 and 1929, the United States was experiencing massive waves of immigration that was flooding into urban areas. There was a need to spread the population more evenly across the country, not only to alleviate the overcrowded cities, but also to exert control over areas in America. So, the U.S. government came up with a plan. They took over 250,000 orphaned and homeless children from New York City and other urban areas, placed them on trains, and sent them to rural towns across America. This plan was sold to the public as giving these children a fresh start. But
when they took these 200,000 children from New York City and all that, these were part of the Coney Island incubator babies, and they were pumping them out every day because they can grow a full-term baby in 12 hours. And now they 1 year old, you know what I'm saying, based on their growth. And they're passing them out at 1 and putting them on orphan trains, you know what I'm saying, for those that aren't selling. And just dropping their ass off. And these are the rugrats. These are the rugrats that's running around with no parents and their little gangs just doing stuff. This is what they was giving us on TV with the rugrats. Selling us on this Cabbage Patch situation all over the place, right?
But the reality was much darker and more complex. Many of these children simply vanished. Over 100,000 children disappeared as soon as they stepped onto those trains. Was this just a result of poor record keeping? Or is there a more sinister story behind these missing children? Do you really believe what they tell you? Have you heard of the orphan trains?
Okay, hold up, KD. Hold up.
Kendrick Lamar just performed at the...
I got you, man.
For the last reset.
And you had Black Uncle Sam that KD was letting you know who's behind this thing, man. It's a black man. It's a more and more war. It's a Psalm 83 Confederacy. You know Moab in there. You know Moab in there. I'm going to get to your comments. I just have to get to this Jerry Seinfeld drop. Before I even do that, remember, man, let's see, let me let my computer go. Benjamin Franklin, Observations of Mankind, 1751. What? He said Observations of Mankind. Hey, that's a new one, man. Mankind? Come on, man. All right, let me stop talking. Let me just, all right, I can't do this. Can't do this with Observations of Mankind. Now, notice it says mankind, and even in the scriptures, you know, there's mankind, right? There's a difference between man, right, human, and mankind. That's like kind of man. There's a difference between Judah and Jew-ish, right? Kind. Spain, which connects to the West. We got that last time. And Span-ish, right? All right. Observations of mankind. There's a difference between England and the English, because the Ang, well, we got angel, right? We got Jakan. So you got the link. I'll leave it for you. Please read this whole thing, because it's crazy. I like to go to the last. Yeah, I mean, this is deep. You know what I'm saying? This is Benjamin Franklin kicking off, you know what I mean, what he's observing. 1751. Yale University Library. Primary recon. Primary resources, right? Let's just get to what he's talking about in this conclusion right here, man. Right? Let's see if it sheds some light, some Dracan, on these incubator babies and the difference between man and mankind. Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world, now listen up, remember, they had to repopulate after the reset. This is 1751. Okay? Right. Chickamauga wars are already popping off. All this stuff's already happening. These are Indian wars. They need reinforcements. Mankind needs reinforcements. So mankind, kind of man, is using incubator babies. All right, let's go. Gotta cut right to it now, man. I gotta give you skinny, man. All skinny, no fat. All right, all skinny, no fat. Cut to the skinny. I'm cutting to the skinny. So Benjamin Franklin talking about, which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. He's not just saying America, he's saying the entire earth. And you gotta say, why? Why aren't there that many purely white people? Did y'all look up the definition of W-I-G-H-T? Because I'm sure we're talking that, not W-H-I-T. But the number is very small. Why? Because all Africa is black or tawny, which is what? Copper colored, you know what I mean? Swarthy, all the same thing. Asia, chiefly tawny. Tawny, swarthy, right? All the same thing. We're talking a dark skin complexion. We're talking a dark hue. We're talking the copper colored Nagas found here, right? Found here. But then they got foundlings that are now applied to the descendants born in America, because they're not even European, but they're born here. And if they're born here, they can now take the title of Khan. They can take your title just by being born in America. It seems like a addendum, you know. That seems like a little loophole. So the hijack that's just being born in test tubes, right? Test tube babies, right? And those that are their descendants can now claim to be native by being born here. This don't help us, because we already are the first originals, right? Native. This helps them, right? Okay. talking copper, talking dark, right? Swarthy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Because swarthy is just dark. But it's also tawny. It's also black. Like the Moors, like the Spaniards, but we're Spain. The real Italians, all these are swarthy, black Nagas. French and Germans too. But they're trying to act like the English or something different because they don't want to claim that they're incubator babies, so they got to claim something. If they can't claim European, they can't claim French or German or Spaniard or Italian, maybe they can claim English. Maybe that'll give them a birthright. Where? In Europe? Wow. We know they're not the indigenous Nagas in the UK. We know that, right? So-called UK. Swarthy is black, and so is tawny. Talking dark hue, dusky complexion, tawny, black, swarthy. Okay, so when you see tawny, you know we talking dark, we talking black. When we talk tawny. So Asia's chiefly black. Africa is black or tawny. The same thing. It's the same thing, whether it's lighter or darker. We just talking copper color con. America, holy soul. Holy crap, right? Holy soul, we're black and tawny. Tawny, black. Tawny, black. Tawny. So Asia, black. America, wholly black, exclusive of the newcomers. This is why they needed incubator babies. I'm just saying, it's right in your face. They were very small. Now they're the majority in Europe, majority in America, because they was pumping millions and millions of incubator babies every year, including Coney Island and over here. Everywhere where the World's Fairs was popping off, right? And even other underground bases to this day. What are they really doing in Area 51? Pumping out more incubator babies? You go to adopt a baby, you know, oh, his parents, her parents, incubator baby. Tawny, swarthy, black, swarthy, tawny, black. Oh, we're going to talk Moab in there. So Asia's tawny. America is wholly black. Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, the French, oh, the Rus, right? The Rus is on fire. The Russians and the Swedes are generally what we call a swarthy black complexion. And we get back on the Tangu and the Tang, they're also called black. Right? Am I tripping? When we talk Tangu, you know, Wikipedia, you know, Tangu, the same place that Presley was rocking. No, yeah. Swords of the East, we'll definitely get back in here. Now they just put me anywhere. But we just talking Tangu. And this is where Genghis Khan came running up on the Prester. We gotta get back on these Cathayans because we just talking Kara Katai. Cathay, China, Qatar. I'm glad I got the hard copy because they just, man, making it hard in Google to get a good PDF, man. This is a good drop. It's written kind of like, almost like some fictional back and forth, you know what I mean? But it got the drop in it because we're talking the city of Prester John and we're talking Tangoo. Man, look at that belly flop. Come on, can we get a soul clap? For the soulful Nagas, man. Can we get a soul clap for the soulful Nagas, man? Oh, we got Cathay, Tangoo, and Prester John, and Wong Khan, all in one paragraph on the belly flop. Can we get another soul clap, my Naga? Where's Tangoo, right? We know Tim Eugene is Genghis Khan. When we talk Western She, we're talking Almac. We're talking Tangoo. Slow down, drop. You dropping too fast. No one's ever talked Tangoo and incubator babies in the same drop. It's crazy, drop. Slow down, drop. Shout out to my cons, man. Let's go, man. This is obviously a victory lap. Let's go. Oh, you're a fool, my cousin, he heard the thin Turks say. Who's the Turks, right? Even the Moors say that they are connected with the Ottoman Turks, right? So to keep this Cathay in, where's Cathay, right? Let's just be clear about this, right? Stop playing. Stop playing with a nut. I'm talking Cathay. I'm talking Kapangu. Kapangu. Talking Kapangu, man. I get Kapangu, man. Stop playing. So we see it in red, C-A-T-H-A-Y, Cathay, Florida. All this is North America. The Chinese sail upon the sea. Like I said, Japan is in between Florida and the mainland of North America. But nah, that's the real Japan. Because this is the map of America shown to King Henry VII in the year 1500. So when they say Cathay and Cathayans, think about America, right? Florida, boss. And yes, this is a fire-breathing dragon. Okay, this is also India, Ptolemy's India, right? Okay, but we're talking China, yes, here in America. Japan, yes, here in America. Cathay, C-A-T-H-A-Y. Because this is a map of America, man. Yeah, Cathay, right? C-A-T-H-A-Y, right? Caribs, Caribbeans, all this stuff, right? So, calm. To keep this Cathayan alive, he will work you harm. The spies of Kong He are thick as jackals in the trail of a hunt. I go to my lands beside Tangoo, the city of Prester John, whom you call Wang Khan. Will you go to the castle that's guarded by beasts? You mean dragons? You mean dragons? Not I, a word of warning, stripling. Prester John is your foe. Because these people were down with Genghis Khan, right? And Genghis Khan went to war with Prester John in 1202. At the same time, he went to war with the Western Shishia, XI, which are the Almec, who called themselves the Shi, right? We got this many times. So Genghis Khan went to war with the Almecs, the Almak. The Mak is the Makir, man. Makir Amari is what America is named after. Makir Amari. Amaru, right? Which is the dragon. And again, the castle is guarded by bees. Tangoo, the city of Prester John. 1548. Just like we got the 1500, man. Tangoo is right here in your face bone. T-A-N-G-U-T. And what does this have to do with the tan and the tannin? In the Hebrew, the tan connects with the dragons. The tannin connects with the jackal, right? And they make it very similar, familiar, so that you confuse it in the scriptures. The translators confuse it when they talk jackal because of tannin. They get it confused with the tan, which is the dragon. So a lot of the jackal talk is dragon talk, and these are factuals. We're talking India Superior, and yes, we're still talking Cathay, C-A-T-A-Y. Cateo, R means regnum, kingdom, man. And we still talking India. We still talking China, La China, and Florida. Boss, I don't see no North America. Do you? Does North America even exist? Or is it just Cathay? Kapangu, is it just Cathay, right? Cathay, Florida. Cathay, Florida. India Superior or Great Tartaria. This is the Grand Tartary. The Asia Major. The India Superior, my noggin. Where the city of Prester John is. Tangu, right? Because Tangu is the city of Prester John. At least one of them, because he's guarding the gates. He's guarding the borders, right? Tangu, the city of Prester John, who you call Wang Khan, because Wang means king, Khan means priest. Or in Spanish, they'll say Juan, or John, right? So Prester John is Wang Khan, priest, king, like Melchizedek, Khan, guarded by beast or fire-breathing dragon. Got him, boss. I'm just talking Tangu, right? They talking Tangu, we talking Tangu, okay? So if I put in like the Western sheet, right? Oh, my bad. Western sheet. Come on, man. Come on, man. If I put in the Western Shia, which are the Almec, the XI, right? Which is the same X from the Andrews Cross, right? Same tau in the Hebrew alphabet, where X marks the spot, meaning monument, covenant, the mark, the Makir, the Yamari. The Western Shia, the Shishia, officially Great Shishia, also known as the Tangu, right? And again, just like Prester's going to war with Genghis Khan here, or Temujin, they're at war, right? In the Tangu flow, or the Western Shia flow, I mean, the Tangus play heavy, as you can see. It's a lot of history, right? But this is your story, especially when it comes to this Genghis invasion. And these Khitans, the Khitan is the Cathay. Spell it with a C or you spell it with a K. Khita is Cathay. Katai, Kateo, Khitan. Same thing, my name. So you can link it up, man. This is the Hebrew invasion by Moab and them, or Genghis Khan and them, who still represents the Psalms 83 Confederacy. Talk says it right here, 1203. ThaGru was defeated by Temujin. Didn't we see Temujin right here, right? They call Genghis Khan Temujin, right? Same thing. ThaGru is who? Wang Khan, right? Didn't they call Prester John Wang Khan right here? I can't make these parallels and duplications up. This is one thing. We're talking Genghis Khan. Yeah. And who's ThaGru? Who's Wang Khan? Well, ThaGru, they say Wang Khan or Ong Khan was the Khan, the priest, the Khan of the Carians or the Kara, like Carolinas, right? Karaites, Kara Katai. Katai is Cathay. So you're talking black Cathay. Cathay means pure land. So these melanated, swarthy, so-called black people of the pure land or promised land are the Karis. They are the copper-colored Khans guarding India's superior man, who was the blood brother Anda of the Mongol chief Yesugi and served as an important early patron and ally to Yesugi's son, Temujin. So Genghis Khan was tribed up, where his dad was tribed up with Wang Khan, not him. But he was like a nephew. So Genghis was the little homie. You know what I'm saying? Yesugi is his dad, who they had a blood bond. They had like a brotherly bond. And his son, Temujin, ended up going under, the wing of the Wang. He was under the Wang, under the king, King David. Later he called himself King David. So this is the Mongol flow, but Mongol means great. Just like more, right? So who's the real more? Who's the real great? I ain't talking more-ish. I ain't talking great-ish, man. We all got to see clearly, because ain't nobody going to follow you into the black hole no more, right? We need the light. We need the Drakan popping off. So the Wang Kong is the Ong Kong is the ThaGru, just like the Temujin, right, is the Genghis Khan, who went to war with ThaGru, 1203. ThaGru, again, we got Wang Han, right, which is why you got to dig on the Han Dynasty. And the Han Dynasty connects you with the HaWah, the HaWah, Khan of the Carians, who is who? Prester John, but also King David. Can you say it with me, Khan? My body bad for the illusion. Because the Wang Kong was the name given to ThaGru by the Gurkhan-led Jin dynasty of China. The Jin, back to the Jin, back to the Shi, back to the Jing, and come on, man. The yin yang, right? The Jin is also in the Arabic flow, like some genie flow, like, you know what I mean? But we're just talking dragon. The Wang means king or prince, like Juan or John, right? 13th century. ThaGru was one of several Asiatic leaders who was identified with the legend of the Prester, man. And we on Prester 153. I need you to get in that classroom. This is all we talking about. But also King David, right? Because the Prester is King David. They say brother to John. But again, this David title is a title, like the John title is a title. There's multiple Prester Johns, there's multiple Davids. Khan? Yeah, and historianism, we already know, connects to an old king renowned for wise counsel. And who's the old king? David. And there's no credible proof that he was a Christian, so stop playing. We're talking about a Hebrew king, David. Let's go. Body bag, man. We got receipts. So this all connects with the Shia, right? Right, because ThaGru's son, Nilka, Nen Senjgun, fled through Tangu territory. And although The Tangus refused to provide him with refuge, and he raided their territory. Temujin used this as a pretext to raid the Western Shia. So now Genghis Khan goes to war against the who? Shia. Who's the Shia, right? The Shia are the Almec, because the Almec, oh, the name means rubber people in Nahuatl. Again, Nahuatl is the HaWah, H-U-A, HaWah. Aztec language. Let's get it from here. The word Olmec also refers to the rubber balls used for the ancient ball game of the Olmec creation. The Olmec called themselves the Shi, same as when they were in China. Body bag for the illusion. These are the Chinese, because the Chinese sail upon the sea. Come on, boss. That's why there's Olmec heads all over here, because this is China. You're looking for the Khan of China, the Wang Khan, the land of Prester Chan, Japan and all that. The Chinese sail upon this ocean. This is a map of America, boss, and the way to China as men believed it to be, which an old pilot showed King Henry VII in the year 1500. This is China. And they call themselves the Shi, the same name they used when they were in China. And now the heads are everywhere, because this is China. You tried to bury these Nagas, man. They tried to bury these Nagas. So Temujin he raided the Shi and said, what happened to the Olmec? This is what happened, my Naga. This is where the Mongol history picks up. But we're still talking about the Tangu. And now that you understand that the Shi are the Olmec, and the Tangu are the Shi, and the Tangu are what? Wolfram called them what? Wolfram called them what? William of Rubric, Sherlock William, called them what? Because there's also a Wolfram van Etchenbach, but that connects to the romances of Prester John. But William of Rubric called them what? Who traveled to various parts of the Mongol Empire, which means America, because you're talking about the great ones. 13th century, same thing. Same time that we being invaded by Genghis Khan, the Western Shia. The Tangus were valiant and had big, swarthy men. And swarthy means black men. Got 'em. Oh yeah, Benjamin Franklin. Because we all swarthy. Europe swarthy. Spain is swarthy. Italy, France, and Russia. The Rus, the Swedes. America is holy so. And the Tangu are big swarthy Nagas. They big swarthy Nagas. The Tangu people I saw were tall but swarthy. Says William of Rubric. I mean, primary recon. Just look up what William of Rubric's talking about, man. If you want the primary, right? If you care that the Tangu people are swarthy, big swarthy Nagas, then you care that these black swarthy Nagas, right, are the Tangu. And the Tangu, that's the city of Prester John. And the Tangu is right here in America, or India Superior, or Cattell, Florida, boss. And the Tangu, these big swarthy Nagas, man, they're at war with Temujin, or Genghis Khan, who is himself also a swarthy Naga. We got the real photo of Genghis, right? The slim, skinny, swarthy Genghis, right? Yeah. And he goes up against his uncle, man. Big Unc, right? Since his pops and him were like brothers, Prester John was like an uncle. He didn't want to be under his uncle. He wanted to marry into his uncle's family. He wanted to get one of David's daughters. David said, no, man, you're not one of my seed. He went to war with David for the daughters. He went to war with David right here in Tangoo. Right here in the city of Prester John. Right here in the land of the swarthy Tangoo, right? Who William calls Big Swarthy Knox. Big Swarthy Knox. Swarthy means black. And Benjamin Franklin like, man, don't send no more black people over here, man. All the Tangoo, all these big Swarthy Knockers is over here. All of Africa's black and tawny. Asia, all tawny. America, except these new guys, these incubator babies. Holy so. In Europe, man, everybody's swarthy. This is why they pumping incubator babies, man. Even the Germans are swarthy. Even the Germans are swarthy. And the French. But the English aren't. I think they're hiding under the English title. Because the English, the Ang, is like the Ang Khan. They can't take the title Ang, man. They can't take the title Ang, right? Not no more, boss. Not no more. They can't take the Ang title. Dodge the vowels. Dodge the vowels. There ain't no Ang. There ain't no angel, right? You're talking white, man. You're talking W-I-G-H-T. Mankind. A person of a specified kind, especially one regarded as unfortunate. I'm just talking whites. You always had an unlucky white. Monologue, this is y'all. I ain't talking to y'all, I'm talking to them. This is y'all language, man. We using your own language to unequivocally, take away whatever substantiating recon about yourself you thought you had. Strip away the layers. So you bucket naked. Just like Adam and Eve, right? But now you can't hide. Because you're white. You're a spirit. You're a ghost. And that leads us to another thing. Do other entities habitat these soulless beings? Are they possessed, man? I mean, are they like sleeves, like we see in these new TV shows? These people wearing sleeves, and they can be possessed by these demons, right? But these demons are whites. You dig? You dig? Is this why they have all these horror stories about this possession? Because they're soulless and they can be possessed? They have all these, haunting stories of these spirits haunting them because they're not supposed to be here? Come on, man, let's get right to it, man. A creature. You're just talking about creatures. You're trying to make it nice. A witch or a sprite. A ghost or a dead person who is... Whoa, come on, boss. These are just definitions of whites. And let's not even get started on the island of white. It's a whole white island, right? How many incubator babies is in the Isle of Wight? And what's the White Walkers all about? Game of Thrones, right? Thing, creature, thing, 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 thing. Thing, 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 thing. Hey, what if I put demon? Will they give me the right definition? Yeah, see, now you start getting into it, right? Demon. Demon is a white. A white is a demon monster. Oh boy. Oh boy. A white is a demon. Oh boy. Yeah. You thought it was safe when you're WHITE, but WIHT? Oh boy. Oh boy, right? Oh boy, man. Yeah, buddy.
And were subjected to lifelong slave labor and sexual abuse. Everything they taught you is a lie. America was covered with empty Tartarian cities, left to rot after the Great Reset, and those that followed grew a few. Great Reset.
Look at this standing, you know, they would say Tartarian building, right? This is the architecture they found here when they found the copper color race, man. They found you in a beautiful civilization, and they wanted you to believe that you're savages and couldn't build nothing, and did never see a sword, and did never know how to build nothing, right? Except it's the opposite. You're high civilization. You're connected with the land of Mu, connected with the Atlantis flow, right? So you're in high civilization, the ether flow. And they repopulated with their whites, right? Yeah, the whites, the demons. But the principal body of white people on the face of the earth is very small, because everybody else is swarthy complexion. But only the Saxons and the English, they're saying, which make up the principal body of whites on the face of the earth. This is why they're kicking incubator babies, is that all they had, according to Benjamin Franklin, was the English and the Saxons. And even the Saxons are Isaac's sons. Isaac's sons are the Saxons. Stop playing with us. You're not the Saxons. You're not the English. You're an incubator baby, which is the principal body of whites. And the whites are demons. Alchemical serpent. Because in alchemy, there's a dragon, right? Unknown. Don't even act like you know the melanin, right? You don't know the dragon, but you know it's the vessel that contains the spirit. That doesn't sound like the alchemical serpent. So when they say serpent, they're not talking dragon. Get that out your head. A dragon is a separate, completely separate thing. We're talking about the vessel that contains the spirit. A serpent, it's unconscious, impersonal, it's soulless, boss. Do you see clearly? Can I get a body bag for the illusion that these soulless incubator babies are impersonal in nature? They're not natural by law. They are artificial, unconscious, just now bursting into consciousness. They are the conscientio. the bringing together of opposites, which is the only way, my noggin, to slay the dragon. The only way is the product of conscientio. The coming together of opposites can slay the dragon. So they created incubator babies to slay us, which is why they hanging us blood on the leaves. Strange fruit, my noggin, because they are the coming together of opposites just bursting into consciousness. They are the conscientio to slay the dragon. They are the opposites. One is life, one is white, right? One gives life, one has the living spirit that can be extracted. One gives life, and one kills everything. I'm just talking about the serpent, which is not the dragon. It is impersonal in nature and is unconscious and just now bursting into it's just now getting conscious, boss. It's just now getting conscious. But this same soulless being is frequently part of the symbolism with conscientio. It is the coming together of opposites, which is how they slayed the dragon. Khan, this is the Cadmus. But it's all good, Khan, because we are firing up the primordial dragon once again, giving it wings. The universal spirit is popping off once again. Kum HaWah, Kum HaWah. We are no longer soulless, man.
And those that followed grew a few millions babies to repopulate and rebuild. They dug out those cities and started over. Researched Tartaria and asked questions. Suspend your disbelief. Like,
survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America. And when they got there, they were given a new story. America. And when they got abandoned children who had survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America. They were shipped off, along with abandoned children who had survived the reset, taken from their families, sent to faraway lands. Many ended up in America.
Many ended up in America, these soulless. And now you got these celebrities that are telling you to your face that they come from the soulless. Huh? The Swarthis. Because the principal body of Wights or demons on the face of the earth. Benjamin Franklin said, I could wish their numbers were increased, man. Please give us some incubator babies. And while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet, because they're just bursting into consciousness. So they are destroying everything, scouring the planet, clearing America of woods, man. Benjamin Franklin is telling you this. Cutting down the trees, because we give off oxygen. They want to terraform the place, right? AI, robot, RFID chips, metaverse. They want to create some type of soul connection to everything now, right? Because they don't have it. So making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to who? To who, boss? To the eyes of the inhabitants of Mars or Venus? I'm out of here, man. Moors from Mars, man. Moors are from Mars. They say they from Mars. Don't let me go get that drop. Natural by law, don't let me go get that drop, man. Moors from Mars, man. Yeah, they want to reflect a brighter light. They want to be a white, which is a bright, right? They want to be a bright white. They want to be a bright demon, reflecting the bright demon light. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, so in other words, they're not superior beings, but in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? This is Benjamin Franklin essay 1751. We're talking mankind, incubator babies. Increasing them, right? Got 'em, boss. Got 'em. I'm gonna get to your comments for the dismount. I can't, man. I ain't even got back into the Dangian Red Sea Vermilion Seaflow. The kidney is the key DNA, right? Why is this important? Because they don't have it. You're natural by law. Love to the bro. You are the superior being. Right? Because we got worlds beyond the poles. Everything's connected. Mars is a land. Venus is a land. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? We want whites. Why increase the sons of Africa? Afra means earth. The sons of earth. By planting them in America. Whoa. Planting like Cabbage Patch Kids. Got 'em. Planting them in America, man. We the Americans, but don't bring up no more darkies over here, because everything is already dark. Don't bring in no more darkies, right? Don't darken its people in the sight of superior beings. We only got a few whites. We only got a few whites. Why increase the sons of the earth, right? By planting them in America, which is wholly swarthy, right? Got 'em. Why increase these niggas? Why bring more Africans over here if these people are wholly swarthy already? Don't plant them in America, boss. Where we have so fair an opportunity, we're on orphan trains already. And if Jerry Seinfeld that we about to get for the dismount, if he's admitting he's from the orphan babies, how many are also from the orphan babies that are celebrities? Or even Benjamin Franklin probably came from this orphan baby, incubator baby situation, where they have so fair an opportunity, which is why they turn them into rugrats, right? Remember the rugrats? Huh? This is the cartoon, and they made this a Cabbage Patch Kid, where these damn kids were going crazy all by themselves. Nicktoons, Nickelodeon. They threw a swarthy one in there just for fun. American animated television series created by Arlene Klasky, Gabrielle, yada yada. Hold up, man. Focuses on a group of toddlers, most prominently Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, yada yada, day-to-day lives, usually involving life experience that became much greater adventures in the imaginations of main characters. All right, so they going crazy. Yeah, they're gonna rugrats. These are incubator babies, orphan babies, right? Just going crazy, doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. whatever the hell they want to do. Why was it controversial? Anti-Defamation League criticized the design of the grandpa board and charged it with being anti-Semitic. Oh my goodness. Judaism. Oh my goodness. We out of here. Out of here, man. Rugrats, man. So fair an opportunity by excluding all blacks and Tawnies of increasing the lovely whites. Exclude the blacks, increase the whites, increase the incubator demon babies, alchemical serpents that are just now bursting into consciousness. Killing everything. And red, but perhaps I am partial to the complexion. So we're talking complexion for the connection of my country. Where's your country if you are also a orphan baby, an incubator, infant? For such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. Now they playing a victim. You've always been partial to these blacks. As soon as you start dominating, you guys love these blacks so much. Man. But it's not just these whites, right? You got others, man, in different communities, man. Look at even in boxing, like Teofimo Lopez making all these black jokes, monkey jokes, banana jokes, and then saying, oh, you guys love the black fighters. If you want the black fighters, you can keep the black fighters. I'm gonna... Mankind is tripping, right? Because we just talking the indigenous Mexico. The indigenous. Full of this, man. Be proud of who you are, cuz. Be proud of who you are. On both sides, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? It's a more and more woke. This is a Roman. This is a Roman. You dig? Romani. You're everywhere in history. Where you're talking France, Germany. This is what Benjamin Franklin talking about. You're everywhere. Charlemagne. Nagas. What we're talking Holy Roman Empire. Nagas everywhere, man. This is what they talking about. King Charles V, King of France. Nagas everywhere. Nagas. Emperor Emmanuel, man. Vatican Library. They know, right? Nagas everywhere. My Naga, it's Nagas everywhere. We're talking Europe, we're talking Nagas. So these are not the Europeans. Now it's white, right? They call them albinos, but really, we're talking incubator babies. Coming to take people's titles and positions. Nagas everywhere. Nagas, Queen of England. Nagas everywhere. Stop playing with us. And then they redo it like this. It goes from this to this, right? Come on, boss. Man, you see it. I can go on and on. Shout out to Real History WW. Been giving us substantiating recon for a long time, man. And boiling. Shout out that series, The Tutors. All about you. All about you. And what else? I mean, you know. Of course. You got the stewards. I'm going quickly, but I'm going to leave the link so you can take your time. Take your time. Surf the way. Real history did his recon, man. For real, for real. Charles Kento, yeah. And now it's Charles Kento. Oh. Okay. Okay, Charles Kento. Okay. More Olmec flow. Panama. I want to get to the Mexico flow, man, because this is where it's at right now. The Mayan flow. I want to get to the walls, right? The murals. The tombs, the murals, right? Where there's nagas all over their walls. But when you say you Mexican, you Mexican, they gonna look at you crazy. But on the walls, it is what it is, right? Right, boss? It is what it is. So how did you not become you no more, and now they're you? That's crazy. I'm talking anywhere in Central America, South America, North America, Africa, Europe, Russia, wherever. You're on the walls. Talking Maya, right? You're on the walls. We're talking Maya, we're talking Palenque. You're on the walls. Or these people disappeared, or are they called black today? Did they disappear, or are they in the family barbecue in South Carolina popping off? The black Buddha is the same. China, she is the same. These are the Olmec. These are the Aztec. But of course, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, so it's tribe, man. It's tribal war. You're on the walls. This is not cartoons. This is you on the walls. Oldest Maya Merrill got you on the walls. Woo. You on the walls. We're talking Mexico, we're talking Belize. You on the walls. This is you, Khan. This is Nagaville. This is Atlantis, Lemuria. This is all that. This is older than Egypt, Africa, all this. This is older, Khan. This is the old world. Now they want to call these mounds. Yeah, man, you on the walls. Jack, you on the walls. Yeah, you didn't build nothing, huh? That's what they want you to know. This is what they want you to think. You didn't build nothing. You ain't nobody. You just got off a slave boat from Africa. Are they Africans too? Because you on the walls. You on the walls. They just had extra brown crayons or something? Or are you swarthy? Just like Benjamin Franklin said, you are holy soul. Because you on the walls. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. The Aztec with the afro, the Aztec Managa, you on the walls. Montezuma with these beautiful buildings behind him. You're on the walls. These were already here. These were already here. Look at the ether antennas. Look at the ether antennas, man. Montezuma, Aztec, Rex, King. You're on the wall. You're the American. Remember, holy soul. America, holy soul is Swarthy. Because you're on the wall. 1600s, Aztec couple, right? Mexicans, Afros. Now they call them Afro-Mexican. Yeah, give them their rights because you on the walls, man. Oh, Columbus. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. But just know that you on the walls, man. Woo! Let's go. Lego. America, America. You on the walls. Wow. So, yeah. Orphan babies, right?
And when they got there, they were given a new story, the official version of history. No elders left to tell them the truth. Nobody to remember how things used to be. It made them easier to control, you see. Easier to accept the new narrative.
They dropped them motherfucking children off on them orphan trains on us. We became they motherfucking babysitters and teachers. The scientists couldn't teach these crazy bitches nothing. They was made 1 year old in a fucking hour. Tell me.
Believe what they tell you. Have you heard of the orphan trains? It was a covert operation to repopulate and reshape the American Midwest. This is as dark and scary as it sounds. Between 1854 and 1929, the United States was experiencing massive waves of immigration that was flooding into urban areas. There was a need to spread the population more evenly across the country.
Oh, don't increase the sons of Africa on us poor whites when we have such a hard time already. We're outnumbered. There's only a few of us.
Not only to alleviate the overcrowded cities, but also to exert control over areas in America. So, the U.S. government came up with
Control over areas in the promised land. They are straw man, landlords. Now they got a president and a vice president. Now you got the United States of America, right? Now you got a president and vice president. But remember Guerrero, man. Remember Guerrero, man. Well, last time we got something on this New Spain map, right? And I'm like, yo, little America was just little America. They talking about Texas gonna break back off. Texas been broken off. Texas ain't dealing with this. Shout out to my total Texas nigga. Yeah, Guerrero is who? Vincent Guerrero, Mexican greatest swarthy naga, right? Who's Guerrero, right? Hey. I understand the history of my country is very dramatic because of the culture shock that happened between Mexican natives and Spaniards after the discovery of the New World, quote unquote. Then settlers brought African and Asian peoples to New Spain. Now, these copper-colored people were already here, but yeah, they started bringing other people to do their labor, right? Including incubator babies, and that produced more changes in the country's social structure as the mixture of cultures and races led to complications between the races. All right. Come on, man. So Vincent Guerrero Saldana, born August 9, 1783 in Tixtala, and now the state of Guerrero in Mexico, to a humble family. His father, Juan Pedro Guerrero, was African-Mexican, or we're talking about Afro-Mexicans, indigenous Mexicans. They want to make them think they from Africa too. While his mother, Guadalupe Saldana, was a native Mexican, indigenous. Vincent Guerrero did not have a formal education while growing up, but it dedicated his time to farming activities, working as an arriero, or mule driver, that transports goods. Politically, both of his parents were devout supporters of Spanish rule in New Mexico. Okay, I'm sure they were. So you say. So you got the 16th century. New Spain likely had the largest number of Nagas, which is Mexico. New Spain is Mexico. So Mexico had the largest number of Nagas, slaves or prisoners of war of all the Americas. According to 1595 census, Afro-Mexicans, who's getting their rights back as the natives, we got that, right? Outnumbered Spanish and mestizos, persons of indigenous and Spanish mixed descent. And the more they kept mixing, now you got them looking like whites. And the more white blood they have over there, or demon, right, the more they can claim to have a higher hierarchy or structure. And the more white they look and act, the higher, the best, the better they treated. Think about it. By the incubator babies. That's mixing out or taking the titles of America, right? Now you could be born here, now you got that. You could be born in Mexico, now you got that. It's set up for the hijack. That doesn't look like the same, naga on the walls that we just looked at. Get some drop on Guerrero. This is a naga, Khan. This is a naga. And then they gave him these pictures. Look at this. Now he looks like this, man. All these are whitewashed pictures. Iconoclasm. Get some drop on Guerrero, man. Get some drop. We're talking orphan babies. And what did Jerry Seinfeld say? Yeah, I want to know. 16 seconds. I want to know. This is 16 seconds. Let's go.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in
Whoa.
Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
He said it with a straight face, and then he said he was. All right, I got this turned up as high as I can. Listen closely. Listen closely. This is what Jerry Seinfeld said. He's not making a joke. Listen.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just...
Didn't we just talk about the incubator babies in Coney Island?
Just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe.
No, it's true.
No, it's true. He's not lying. He's not lying. He's telling the dog truth. Let's go.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe.
No, it's true.
Shout out to Dwarf who got the drop. What else did Seinfeld say? Now that he just admitted his dad was an incubator baby, what about his mama, right? What about his mama? Now take that and listen to his discussion here. Let's dodge the hijack.
My whole career, I was pretty much bald.
Oh, you bald now, boss? Because you an incubator. Let's go.
Let's bolt and get another.
Let's go.
Your mom was an orphan. Your dad left home.
He was an orphan also.
What did each of them tell you about their situations growing up?
They didn't talk much about it, but there was a toughness.
So he said dad before, right? Here he said dad. Listen up again. Now you're hearing him say both his parents were orphans or incubator babies. I can't make this stuff up.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell.
He is the seed of an incubator baby or soulless. And if he is an ish, right? Not only are they repopulating to take our land, but they're repopulating to take our titles of Judah-ish. And these ishes, if he's an incubator baby, that means many of these ishes are incubator babies. So when we try to connect them with the seed of Gomer and the Khazars, nah, man. Nah, boss, the Khazars are black. The Khazars are swarthy. The Khazars come from Khazaria, which was first named Mazaka, or before that, Mosak. Now you're talking Moses, back to the three Moseses, right? Phantoms and duplications. The Moseses and the Byzantium, which went down in 1453, 1 year after the 1452 Papal Bulldog to take down all y'all, were ravishing mammals, issue Vatican papals, trekking Adam and Eve to bite the Vatican apple. This is not natural. This is not a natural apple. So these issues, especially these celebrities and these people in these high positions in these corporations, maybe the Zuckerbergs, maybe these other folks that are put in these high positions in all these corporations, these billionaires, all this stuff, incubator babies.
Literally tell me anything, I'd believe it.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe it.
No, it's true.
Oh, it's true, boss. And what about his mama? What about his mama? This is multiple interviews. Let's go.
Your mom was an orphan. Your dad left home.
He was an orphan also.
What did each of them tell you about their situations growing up?
They didn't talk much about it, but there was a toughness. Both growing up in orphanages, or in my father's case, really just running from apartment to apartment.
And why?
Because they had no money. So it was a bunch of kids. It was a...
Come on, boss. Come on, boss. A bunch of kids, right? Don't that sound like Rugrats, Cabbage Patch Kids, Test Tube Babies? A bunch of kids running around wild with no parents. They both were orphans. They had no parents. It's the same shit. It's the same story. And this is the popular Jerry Seinfeld. This is why they just clone these people, man. Because they already clones. Look at them. This ain't natural. This ain't human. We got conditioned to think that this is natural, but it ain't. Natural by law, but by whose law? They don't worship the same creator, so they can't have the same law or natural. They call our junk, our DNA junk, 99% junk, but the solar flash hits and is activated again. It was never junk. They come from the orphan trains.
Your mom was an orphan. Your dad left home.
He was an orphan also.
What did each of them tell you about their situations growing up?
They didn't talk much about it, but there was a toughness. Both growing up in orphanages, or in my father's case, really just running from apartment to apartment.
And why?
Because they had no money. So it was a bunch of kids. It was a home where they were not able to live for some bad reasons.
What?
And so they decided
Remember these orphans, they take sexual abuse, they say slavery, right? He just said bad reasons, but we just got sexual abuse, slavery, everything was happening with these orphans because they weren't real. And maybe the real whites that connect somehow to our line, you know, somehow, somewhere, right? They were turning these folks into the slave race of whites, right? Hierarchy type stuff. And because of a bad situation, what?
And why?
Because they had no money. So it was a bunch of kids. It was a home where they were not able to live for some bad reasons. And so they decided to set off on their own as a group of brothers and sisters.
Now he's just regurgitating what his parents are telling him. Look at him. He's searching for the words to describe being a son of an incubator baby.
So it was a lot of street hustling, of selling whatever you could get.
Street hustling, a bunch of kids, a bunch of reckless. You know how these people's kids are right now. Imagine it just straight orphan status, right? Even with parents, they be tripping. Even with parents, right? But without, can you imagine? He said straight hustling. They doing everything. They're killing, they're stealing, they have no law, they're lawless, they're not natural by law, they're not humane, they're mankind. These are incubator, soulless, alchemical serpent babies.
For some bad reasons. And so they decided to set off on their own as a group of brothers and sisters. So it was a lot of street hustling, of selling whatever you could get on the street, and usually they could not make the rent, and after 3 months they would just bolt and get another place.
Kids. So they let kids rent places, and then they couldn't make it, so they got another place.
And so there was that toughness. I was lucky to be around.
They call it toughness. When we go through hard times, they just call us thugs, savages, everything else. But for them, they switch it to a positive. Oh, we went through all that. We're tough. And then they tell us some story. Oh, my granddad came from Ireland and picked himself up by his bootstraps. I'm sorry, boss. The Irish were swarthy. Sorry, boss. He didn't come from Ireland if he wasn't swarthy. You might be talking about an incubator baby. Oh, he comes from France. Well, the French are the Franks, and the Franks are swarthy. And them and the Roos were part and parcel in creating the Knights Templar, protecting the secrets of King Solomon and Prester John and them, King David and them, right? Which were swarthy. Yeah. You're very small. You want your numbers to increase, which is why you're an incubator baby. Can't make this up, boss. We can't make this up, boss.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator.
He just admitted they were orphans, and now he's letting you know that they were incubator babies.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
And so was the dude laughing. So he looked at him like, huh? Are you really,
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe it.
No, it's true.
And that's an incubator baby, too.
Totally.
It's totally true. It's totally true. One more time, man, about it.
Your mom was an orphan. Your dad left home.
He was an orphan also.
What did each of them tell you about their situations growing up?
And he was an incubator, too.
Didn't talk much about it, but there was a toughness. Both growing up in orphanages, or in my father's case, really just running from apartment to apartment.
And why?
Because they had no money. So it was a bunch of kids. It was a home where they were not able to live for some bad reasons. And so they decided to set off on their own as a group of brothers and sisters. So it was a lot of street hustling, of selling whatever you could get on the street, and usually they could not make the rent, and after 3 months they would just bolt and get another place. And so there was that toughness. I was lucky to be around that. Usually if the parents have a tough life, the kids
Incubator babies. Both his parents are incubator babies, man. Soulless.
life is too easy and they screw up, and then their kids get tough, hopefully. You know, it tends to be an up and down cycle of even in culture, you know. We're in the soft period now.
He's struggling just to make sense out of this shit. He's tap dancing his ass off. Oh, they're tough, everyone's tough.
And so it wasn't like that for you. So you've spoken about how he never, correct me if I'm wrong, like never hugged you, never told you he loved you.
How could he? He's soulless. He's looking up like, what does that mean? Love? Internal monologue? I don't have an internal monologue. I mean, I can create a comedic monologue. but I don't have a soul.
Never threw a ball with you.
No. But there was a lot of love in my house.
Well, and you said like you and your sister and your parents were almost like roommates.
Hold up, man. How is there a lot of love in your house when your parents never told you they loved you, boss?
Like you and your sister and your parents were almost like roommates in a way, and you called it complete neglect, but in like the best way.
Come on, boss. Complete neglect, but in the best way. It's not no parenting. It's not love. They don't know love. They don't know a soul. They have no internal monologue.
Parents were almost like roommates in a way, and you called it complete neglect, but in like the best way possible.
Benign neglect is how I was raised. But my parents were very loving, but parents in the 50s and 60s did not express it outwardly like parents.
Incubator. Parents in the 50s and 60s didn't express love. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We've been expressing love since the beginning of time. You just don't know it because you don't know HaWah, because you're not natural by law. You're not man, you're mankind. I'm not talking about all Caucasians, so-called. I'm talking about Jerry Seinfeld's parents. I'm talking about what he's calling orphan parents, which he just said were incubator babies. And he said it with a straight face.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe it.
No, it's true.
Come on, man.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just...
That means we got to factor this in, and that means it doesn't change anything. It just confirms and validates everything of how we always say, how can they do this? But we don't understand them because we're not soulless, and they don't understand us because we are the light. And these are his incubator parents. And we see them every day, right? And they say they're from here, they're there, they're there. They're Americans, they're Polish, they're Irish, they're all this stuff, they're French. They're the head of the Cherokees today. Come on, man.
Do today. There was no emotional hole in my life that people love to say, comedians, that's why they do this. They're filling some emotion.
Like roommates in a way, and you called it... Loved you, never threw a ball with you.
We're in the soft period now.
Well, and so it wasn't like that for you. So you've spoken about how it never, correct me if I'm wrong, like never hugged you, never told you he loved you.
Did he? Did he ever hug me? I gotta think about it. Did he ever tell me I love you? I gotta think about it, boss. Did he ever, speak to me with love?
It tends to be an up and down cycle of even in culture, we're in the soft period now.
Well, and so it wasn't like that for you. So you've spoken about how it never, correct me if I'm wrong, like never hugged you, never told you he loved you, never threw a ball with you.
No, but there...
No. No love. No hugs. No balls. Nope. They were on their own. We were on our own. Somehow I got money. Somehow I had a savings. Somehow I had slave gold. Somehow they just gave me land, and we picked ourselves up from our bootstraps, even though America was wholly black or tawny, swarthy. And the principal body of whites on the face of the earth, very small. So don't increase these nagas. I wish I could increase these whites, right? Clear out some more woods, cut some more trees, But don't darken these people. Increase the lovely whites. Increase the incubator babies. But maybe I'm just partial to my complexion. For such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. Gotta for the dismount.
In the early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
You could literally tell me anything, I'd believe it.
No, it's true. There was a lot of love in my house.
Well, and you said like you and your sister and your parents were almost like roommates in a way, and you called
Yes.
You called.
Who would be roommates to their parents? Come on, man. These are orphan trains.
It complete neglect, but in like the best way possible.
Benign neglect is how I was raised. But my parents were very loving, but parents in the 50s and 60s did not express it outwardly like...
Whose parents, man? Incubator parents? My grandparents wouldn't say that. Your grandparents wouldn't say this. You can't say he was very loving and you never got a hug. You never got a I love you.
Like parents do today. There was no emotional hole in my life.
There was no emotion. You have no internal monologue.
That people love to say, comedians, that's why they do this. They're filling some emotional need. I have always rejected that very strongly.
But you had no love, you had no hugs, and you had no I love you from your orphan parents.
Was the hardest part of that kind of self-reliance?
There's nothing hard about it. I mean, I knew I wanted to live a difficult life. I craved a...
Stop it, boss. You wanted a difficult life. You knew that. I guess when your dad is from a machine, you have no other choice.
Difficult circumstance.
What?
But somehow you got gifted these great opportunities, right? That somebody equally or greater funny than you would not get. But you don't take it as privilege. You think you still are from some struggling background. When you were created just to fill these Nagas' place and get these Nagas land and titles and positions, money and gold, and you think it just came out of nowhere? You don't have to be rich like Jerry Seinfeld. You could just be okay by default of, oh, you're an orphan baby too? You're an incubator baby too? We make sure you got a pension fund. We'll make sure you got a savings. We'll make sure there's something for you. But you don't give it back to the blacks, right? You don't give it back to the Tawnies. You don't give it back to the Swarthis.
I don't know. But I think you just know it sometimes when you're a kid. I don't want to do anything easy. And that's why when I found stand-up and I became that thing, it was...
Stop it. Stop talking stand-up. We talking orphan babies, man. We talking orphan babies. Repopulated. Populated. 1800s clone.
We're Phoenix Energy.
Man, you want some energy? You want some frequency and vibration? Man, you better get close to these Nagas. That's the only energy that is real. Shout out to Mine, Unveiled, Let Go. We talking postcards.
Photo manipulation.
We talking postcards. They put it on a postcard, man.
Postcards from the 1900s showing early examples of compositing. There isn't much information on these. If there's a catalog, it's compositing. There isn't much information.
He going quick, but look at this, man. Look at Satan Hold up, man. Hold up, man. This is crazy. I wasn't even trying to talk about this stuff, but this is crazy.
Search on Old World Photoshop, we began to notice a trend with old postcards from the 19...
Babies, orphan babies. These are Jerry Seinfeld's folks, probably Ben Stiller's folks, probably all these people's folks that now call themselves the issues because they have to get in the tents of Shem. But this is not Gomer, Monologue. This is not Gomer. This is not Ham, Shem, or Yapath, or Japheth, right? This is nothing natural. We're talking. This is incubator babies, man.
1900s showing early examples of compositing. There isn't much information on...
Look at this, man. Krampus is Santa Claus today. Saint Nick, right? Better watch out. You better not cry. I was raised in it too. I'm with you. I had to get up out of this, right? We all got a wakey con. And you got this devil with the devil horns. Remember, the white means demon. With their demon children. Soulless. This is the best depiction I can ever think or imagine to what these people connect to. Because they're soulless. And do their empty vessels get penetrated by these spirits and these wicked spirits from the past, even spirits old as Atlantis themselves, that need a vessel, that need a body to animate them. And we think they got a soul because they're animated. No, they have a sprite. They have a spirit, but it's not HaWah, and it's not natural by law. I gotta get a screenshot. Oh my goodness. It's the best I could think of. To describe these incubator babies, soulless, white, yada yada, W-I-H-T, W-I-G-H-T. I'm not making none of it up, man. We're talking naughty kids, man. Naughty demon.
And on these, if there's a catalog, it's not easy to come by. But many of these are early examples of photo manipulation. They had surreal, real photo postcards, in which they would attempt to trick people with the illusion of photography. As we continued to look through these old postcards,
babies. Now instead of Krampus, it's a bunch of roaches, man.
A very strange and unsettling trend.
Babies all over these postcards, man.
And started to become apparent. It began with just simple baby postcards. At first thought, seems like any ordinary postcard. But as with the Same Sky postcard mystery, where the author began to see a trend of a variety of postcards, well, there's a category of postcards that deserves its own name and label, but it doesn't seem very well known, as there are no websites or videos explaining this topic. We shall call it the mystery of the repopulation postcards.
Incubator.
There are other names for this style, such as baby postcards. By the end of this video, you'll be shocked at how many of these there are. We're talking in the thousands. We found one reference to what these cards were in a book on Amazon named Babylon, Surreal Babies, in which the author describes these same...
Babylon. I'm out of here, boss. I'm done, man. This is what we up against, and this is why I'm taking a little detour to talk about it. And some of my cons let me know. I'm going to get your comments right now that you're glad that I'm talking about it, man, because this is something that's on your mind, bone. If they're not the European, who the hell are they? If the bones in Europe, what you digging about the ground, are melanated, who are you, right? If you're not the real Costa Rican, Honduras, you know what I'm saying, Carib, you know what I'm saying, You're not the real Nicaraguan. You know what I mean? You're not the real Mexican. You're not the real American, European. You're not it, right? You're not him. You're not her. It's time to stop hiding and deal with it if you want to overcome. Or you can fall to the wayside in your illusions. But if the people of your land are supposed to be swarthy, and now you got a whole race of people who are claiming the same land that are not, whether we're talking Japan or China, Korea or the Philippines, down to Mexico, up to America, all through Central America, Russia, stop it, man. Everything I just named are swarthy, and there's no way to run or hide about it. I'm not just tripping to make somebody feel bad. I'm talking about cloning and incubator babies. We're talking about natural by law. Now, if you're not that and you want to graft into the tree, all good. But know that you're not the tree or the root, my nigga. Not even the fruit. You're the grafting. You're not even the fruit. So don't boast yourself above the root and the fruit if you want to graft into the natural by law. Everywhere we go, you can't come. You can't go. Everything we feel, you can't feel. You're going to have to accept that if you want to keep it real with a knocker. But if you want to keep acting like you me and you us, then you are in denial. Whether you come from the incubators personally or you're just tied in with it. Or you think that this kingdom of the United States such and such corporation is going to exist forever to cover your tracks. Even the Afro-Mexican got to give their title back. The indigenous, the originals, the first, got to claim who we are. And that's forever. Whether we're talking Israelites, seeds of Moses, whatever, cons of the Prestigion. Now we know through our genetics, we can create albino babies, straight hair, wavy hair, all through our genetics, man. But don't think that you, as a Caucasian so-called, is going to create us. You can't create us. I ain't seen two blue-eyed people pop out a nigga naga baby and not have that in there already, you know what I'm saying, bloodline. Not these orphan babies. They don't have the DNA to create us. Stop it. You're talking about dominant DNA and recessive DNA.
Same peculiar 1900s postcards and how they were deeply influential to many famous artists, including Salvador Dali. Yet, the author even admits that little is known of their history. In order to understand why we've labeled them repopulation postcards, a thorough understanding of resets, Tartaria, orphan trains, incubators, asylums, and oddfellows will be necessary. These cards depict babies being grown.
Whoa.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do.
He's going crazy. He said, I'm an incubator, baby. Baby.
Styles within this category. One of the most interesting is the Cabbage Patch Babies.
Oh boy.
A variety of themes involving growing babies.
Oh boy. Incubator babies. Oh boy. Oh boy. They ain't got no soul, just a black hole. Where they from? Maybe the North Pole.
Babies on plants.
I think we know.
Babies
We've
on
seen
mushrooms.
It before. They're on that shrooms now, man.
Babies in the water.
Babies. Damn. if this is true, right? They just populating with incubator babies. Now they claiming to be American. I'm American. I'm American. I'm fighting for my constitutional right. The Constitution. Incubator babies. Drop Nation, come out to play. Shout out to mine, Unveil. Get the drop.
Babies in a nest. Babies in eggs. Being hatched.
Oh, there's that stork, right?
Then
hold up.
Babies in eggs being hatched.
This was the story, right? Where the babies come from? Oh, some stork drops it off, right? Orphans. Incubator babies, orphan train, same shit.
Then the babies arrive on the train.
Bang. 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 I'm out of here, boss.
There's something eerie about these photos, as if someone's trying to tell us something.
Factuals.
We've also got kids in Cabbage Patches. Does this have anything to do with the Cabbage Patch Kids? So where do babies come from? In the early 1900s, the most common answer given to children would simply be that the stork would bring the babies, or that they were found in a cabbage patch.
Storks, right? So you got all this stuff in Disney, storks. But again, look up the Garbage Pail Kids, right? Garbage Pail Kids. Let's get some images of that for the dismount. Appreciate y'all for surfing away with a con. I'm just popping off, man. It's not insanity. It's just like sometimes, man. Man, come on. Come on, boss. Come on, boss. Sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction, man. Garbage Pail Kids. So it was Cabbage Patch Kids, and there was Garbage Pail Kids. And it's the same shit. And they were always disgusting. This is how they walked around the street, like Seinfeld was saying his parents by themselves, and yada yada, like place to place, like this was them. Garbage pail, like the ones they threw away, right? Chucky dolls, right? There's no difference between this and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Cabbage Patch Kids. It's the same shit. Oh, you said Garbage Pail. I said Come on, man. They playing, man. They playing Cabbage Patch. Come on, boss. Right? You know, you buying these things like you did the incubator babies. Once in a while, they'll throw in a swarthy one just so that you don't just think it's the Wights. Come on, boss. Cabbage Patch. The incubator baby. Got some Cabbage Patch Kids, right?
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. He was.
Takers, the babies weren't premature. They were being artificially gestated. This wasn't just a medical breakthrough. This was unfathomably advanced technology. Artificial wombs, mass baby production. Sounds a whole lot like a new world being repopulated after something big went down.
Cabbage Patch Kids weren't just dolls, but part of a psychological operation to start a new world with no history. Think about it. Why do you adopt them instead of buying them? Why do they come with official birth certificates? And why did parents in the 1980s lose their minds fighting over them? Now So, what were they really normalizing? Was it just a clever marketing gimmick, or were they covering their tracks?
Aryan cities found abandoned across the land.
Incubator babies.
They were sent to humongous orphanages, and the people were able to get orphans to work their farms and factories. Free labor was abundant.
Just because you identify with European or Caucasian doesn't mean you're an incubator baby. But they said 50% don't have an internal monologue boss.
Abundant, and it was needed to rebuild after the last reset. There is loads of evidence showing that the original Cabbage Patch Kids were these orphans which people just simply picked up and took home like fresh produce.
Right. Back to mind unveiled.
What about the next?
Right? What about these incubator babies? Incubator babies? What about Japan? What about China? What about the Philippines? What about Korea?
Early examples.
What about Mexico?
Or does he just have a soft spot for child labor? There's actually a place you can go in White County, Georgia, where they do live births, and you can look it up on YouTube to see what I'm talking about. The bunny bee character also is a hybrid creature of two animals that both symbolize rebirth and resurrection on a mass scale. As we know, rabbits reproduce in droves, and the bee symbolism makes me think of a hive, or a queen or source, where all the offsprings originate from.
And now they say Spain means land of rabbits, right? Oh boy, they talking incubator baby.
It would seem that this is some sort of reference to babies being created in a lab on a mass scale. Why were there so many orphans? Most common answer will be, the baby boom. But this didn't happen until 1946 to 1964. These postcards are from 1890 to 1910. And there's really no explanation for the burst of orphans that we see being brought into the United States, or the amount of orphanages and asylums that exist that no longer seem to be necessary. Could the baby boom narrative be a way to sweep this part of history under the rug? The orphanages were all shut down, and after the 60s, people just stopped having babies and getting married after World War II, according to the narrative.
Time out, but now they got a decline. Now there's a negative birth rate among these whites. Just like it's always been, which is why they're just producing incubator babies like popcorn.
Then there are the incubators of the 1900s. It's difficult to keep premature babies alive with modern technology, yet they were doing this back in 1835 in Europe. They turned this into a sideshow, where at the world fairs they would show off these child hatcheries, these incubators of live children, and for some reason the royals would come and witness these events. So there's this genetic manipulation cloning idea, in which these babies are actually being grown in some sort of pods. Perhaps the symbolism of the Cabbage Patch mirrors that process. Humans do resemble plants in the way that we're connected to a stem in our fetal state, and our whole lives are spent ripening. In the fetal abduction theory, we typically see a nurse-looking woman with either a fishing hook or a fishing net pulling a child out of the water. Perhaps the hook and net represent medical tools and the water amniotic fluid. In either scenario, it would make sense that these babies have to end up in incubators or hatcheries. And it begs the question, how did all these premature babies get here? If women back in, these days were having babies prematurely, why in such large numbers?
Well, because they are proportionally very small. So they, in a sign of superior beings, right? right? They don't want to darken its people. Why increase these darkies by planting them in America, where we have so fair an opportunity? By excluding all blacks and tawnies, of increasing the lovely white, which means what? You know, creature, living being, demon, right? Demon, 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 demon. Monster. It's a monster because it's a serpent. It's a monster because it's an alchemical serpent that's impersonal in nature and unconscious, and it's just now getting consciousness and killing everything. It's a serpent. It's a monster because it's the monstrous serpent, and the monstrous serpent, right? The alchemical serpent, the monstrous serpent is a white monster. The demon, monster white, is the monstrous serpent, alchemical serpent that's impersonal in nature, unconscious as we see every day, just now getting a little consciousness that brings everything to life. They're just talking technology, but with that technology, they're killing everything. HaWah. Oh, you look in the mirror, objects in the mirror might be closer than what they appear.
Owns Incubators by licensing out the machines to put on their own shows during the Jubilee. The show would be a success, seeing over 200,000 paying guests. As the signs on the exhibit buildings often exclaimed, "All the world loves a baby." So there was a universal appeal for fairgoers. Here was life at its most fragile, and it was
cover story. We save babies. These are all preemies. These are all preemies. Don't trip. These are all premature. Their parents disappear, and they're all white. They're all preemies. No, they're baby-making factories. Machine monstrous serpents.
It was technology that was saving it. It was a spectacle. After the show, the two decided to bring the exhibit back to the...
And look at all these beautiful buildings that they say they built in a few months and then tore it down a couple months later. These things to them didn't even last one full year. But they put all this detail in the building, all this? Or was this part of a Naga capital city in these world, quote unquote, world fairs? And we're talking about the incubator babies of Coney Island. And Jerry Seinfeld just said his parents were from Coney Island, right? I can't make this up, my nugget.
Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator. Early 1900s, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. He was on display. They had just invented the incubator.
Yep.
A spectacle. After the show, the two decided to bring the exhibit back to the States for the Trans-Mississippi Exposition in Omaha, Nebraska. This was the 1890s, so you couldn't go 5 feet without running into an exposition. Folks loved expositions back then. It was upon that return that Martin decided his name could use a little more flair. Borrowing from his older brother, Alphonse, who had immigrated to the States earlier, he picked a last name inspired by one of the more famous centers of amusements and entertainment in America, Coney Island. Adding a U to the name to keep it fancy, Martin Arthur, previously Michael Cohn, was now Martin A. Cooney.
They just made up some names, man, because they're from Incubators.
When it came to his incubator show, Cooney cared deeply for the health of the premature babies coming in, but he still wasn't an actual doctor. so he hired a registered nurse by the name of Annabelle May Segner. Incoming babies were bathed right away, rubbed with alcohol, swaddled, and then put in the incubator, which was kept at a temperature of 96 degrees.
Because so many parents were just dropping their babies off, right? Or did they grow these things? Did they grow these things?
At that point, the baby would be assigned a fake show name in order to protect their privacy.
Well, they had a fake name because they're fake people, you know?
Those babies would be fed every 2 hours, either naturally or, if needed, by spoon through the nose, predating the use of a feeding tube.
They just putting food in their nose, man.
May and other nurses would live full-time
infant incubators with living infants. It's not premature babies. It's incubator machine babies that they are creating every 12 hours.
Time at the exhibit in order to care for the infants around the clock. The nurses were also encouraged to show love and affection to the babies, especially when caring for them in front of the public.
And one of these is Jerry Seinfeld's parents.
It was partially for show, but it was also to the benefit of the infants. There was a fear at the time of something called hospitalism, which was when infants would run into developmental issues due to a prolonged lack of human and social contact during long hospital stays. It was one of the many reasons that people at the time avoided.
All right, so that's the cover story. That's the cover story. You know, covering all tracks here. You need some life insurance first. You need to be alive, man. You need real life, man. You need HaWah. Huh? Is that what you need, man?
X-ray and World's Fairs, but today we're going to focus on another medical marvel. But this one was conceived as a sideshow. The 1933 Century of Progress Centennial Exposition.
Right, so we have Coney Island, but now we're in Chicago. Are these all about preemies too? Are these all about premature babies too?
More commonly known as the 1933 Chicago World's Fair, had the motto, "Science finds, industry applies, man adapts." Well, that was certainly fitting for one of the most unusual exhibits at the fair. Living babies in incubators.
This is Chicago, not Coney Island, so don't tell me that same doctor is over here too. And all these doctors and all these world fairs care about preemies. No, we got technology, and they're pumping out babies like popcorn.
That's how the sign put it, rather bluntly, at the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. Unlike X-rays demonstrated at the 1904 fair, these incubators
preemies
weren't being hailed as a medical breakthrough, at least not initially. Instead, they were part of a somewhat seedy sideshow carnival-esque part of the fair.
So before they went preemie with you and said medical breakthrough, we're saving preemies, it was just a side show. And look at this ugly thing. Life form that's not human.
Fair. For Martin Cooney, the man behind the exhibit, showcasing premature babies behind glass was nothing new. He'd started his infantorium at Coney Island 30 years earlier. And while his exhibits had traveled to various fairs and shows, it was the 1933 World's Fair that gave Cooney his widest exposure, with hundreds of thousands of people paying the 25-cent entry fee to see the babies. The babies were displayed in clean...
And they call us coons. But this Cooney was the one going from place to place. And this is who they're using as the cover story, apparently from New York to Chicago. Is this the same Cooney that's going to be in every World Fair kicking out incubators, man? He seems to be the cover story, right?
Sterile environments with several nurses attending them. Funded by the admission fee, Cooney didn't charge parents of the babies for treatment. After the fair ended, Chicago became the first city in the United States to announce policies around premature baby care.
Wasn't he some German scientist? So whatever they popping off in Germany, World War I, World War II, Nazi, Ashkenazi, Nazi, Ashkenazi, Nazi, Ashkenazi flow. Do you see clearly?
And less than 20 years later, incubators were common in hospitals across the nation, saving the lives of thousands of babies.
Incubator babies. All of them got incubator babies. Look at these babies. They're soulless. All of them. All of them are soulless, man. All right, man. We out of here, man. Love to, you know what I'm saying, all your comments, man, because we got down on this, right?
Hey, guys.
Hey, man. All the time, man. They trying to hijack our drop. All the time, man. Let's go, man. So we dropped this a day ago. I'm going to actually go from the newest, man. We got some newest coming. All right. It's so much. We're going to continue. It looks like it's going to be another part. Just reading comments, you know. Let's go, man. Well, then that means by interbreeding with them, we automatically gave a soulless thing a soul. I remember when I was a child. I'm just reading the comments. Love to all the cons, man. I remember when I was a child, they made a movie called Orphan Train. Yeah, it came out in the 70s, 80s, the Cabbage Patch Babies. Yeah, people were losing their effing minds over these ugly ass dolls. Here we go, 2024. They cloned Tyrone, right? That's because they figured out how to clone a melanated male. Notice, not one clone nine-ether female. Why? Because a nine-ether woman has the God gene in her mitochondria, the Eve gene. They cannot replicate because it's from the source. Have y'all seen they clone Tyrone? It's passed from the mother to daughter, Eve. Men are unable to pass that gene to their offspring. So if your mother is an offspring of an incubator baby, so are you. I.e., black men cannot create black children with incubators. Damn, women and their families would never have that Eve gene. Shout out to my king, man. Man, my con's popping off. There is so much documented evidence, yet they hide it and not teach. They just make shit up and teach it as facts with manufactured evidence that bolsters their self-esteem. In Austria, they dug in like ticks, destroyed so much lives in history. Be glad when my peoples are free from them. Thank you for your valuable research. It helps me put pieces together over here in Oz. My cons is connected from Austria to America to Australia's everywhere. I've been had a theory that some old tech they found here on Yoko's, man. Yaku, the big head scientist. And they hit the switch back on and started to ship these ink babies across the country with orphan trains. Let me know if I'm tripping. You ain't tripping, boss. This also goes back to alchemy and the creation of homunculus. They was, right, we're talking alchemy, alchemical serpent. They was doing all kinds of genetic experiments. They were making hybrids and cryptoids. Facts. Both, shout out to It's Corbin Green, Speckled Bird, said both incubated babies at the World's Fair and Orphan Trade Movement are fascinating historical topics that showcase early social technological efforts to care for vulnerable children. Yeah, I think that is cover story 101, that they were just trying to care for vulnerable children. It was just a technological yada yada. You know, you stole technologies and used it to create straw men and straw women. Incubator babies. They are not a people. Deuteronomy 32. Romans, amen. Shout out, wow, man. Shout out to it, man. And some of our people are mating and having babies with him and then being murked by, oh, I heard, some stuff. Yeah, shout out to me, Khan. David C, man, GMO babies, definitely not humans, man. Hey, James Snyder, they are not human. Yeah, that's what we saying, man. That's what we saying. The mystery flesh pit in the West, Texas dude, this is really what it is. Really what it is. Think about, really, I believe in the beginning it was Europeans, but in a small number, here comes the incubator. Some, yeah. And here comes, remember, they're in small proportion, right? 1800s is very close to 1751, right? Where Benjamin Franklin's saying they're proportionally very small. So how'd they become the majority? If this is what was written in 1751. And now we talking, what? 1800s. Electromagnetics, out of body exteriorization, physical, internal, external vibrations, movements of the plane being shown. All right, you popping off? Love to T, son of Johnson, all right. Yeah, Gambino, what they do? Do you remember the Garbage Pail Kids that we talking about? More defects. I know a couple of them whose grandparents, great-grandparents were orphans in the early 1900s. Wonder if they were incubators. This is what we, so once we open up Pandora's box, right, we're like, man, is all y'all incubator babies? We just want to know, right? Cabbage Patch Kids, Iberia, Hebrew Israelite, Black and More created, Latin and Dirty Latin, Spanish, Mansa Musa created, King Ofa. You welcome, brother. Ah, man, I got, Hey, you welcome, brother. You over here on my drop popping off talking about you welcome, man. You welcome, man, that you have a place to even drop this drop. Because apparently you happy about it. But we're going to dig more on King Ofa. Yeah, we're going to dig more on Iberia. But we're talking Kaveri. You know what I'm saying? I think they destroyed their place and marooned their self in our system. More room. I think their home is the one that they've been describing to us, call us destroying our own world with nuclear bombs, that they think that's what happened to Mars. Well, they definitely are interested, you know what I mean, in Mars and Venus, you know what I mean? Scouring our planet by clearing the woods, and so making this side of our globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants of Mars and Venus. So you ain't that far off, Con. You're right there, man, when you talking about, is that what happened to Mars? But I can't say they're the indigenous of Mars. I can't say that they're the indigenous Mars, right? Did they come from the other side of the ice wall, or were they created in incubators? Love to, what they do. Notice the handcuffs on the knocker. Yeah, the knocker's hanging like strange fruit. We're talking soulless, man. All my cons is popping off, man. Y'all see it. We're talking man or mankind. This is interesting. Would white babies symbolically represent the cotton that was grown? Whoa. I mean, whoa. That's a deep one, John. That's a deep one. Saffron is a spice that turns rice yellow and very expensive, derives from Spain. All right, we're talking Sephardic. Okay. Something to think about. Lab rats and mice are usually white. Damn. NPC is disgusting, demonic. We're talking whites. All right, drop. You did it again. Good work, man. We did it again, man. We did it. Cow stomachs, be out. All y'all popping off, man. This is why they push interracial relationship. They need our DNA to fill in their incubator code. 2 trill soul banking. Damn. Man, we talking about dogs, man. All kinds of stuff, man. The car, man. Shout out to Adib. Was waiting for this drop. Really deep stuff. The veil is lifted, man. MHOEKRNC. What it do? Incubator babies gone wild. Cootie Mayo dropped that. Great comment, man. What it do? This is why Hollywood's so messed up. Shout out to Ray Pratt. Y'all got the comments, man. Y'all take y'all time, man. Body. Our body bag. Hey, body bag for the illusion, man. We out of here, man. Woo! Incubator babies. Like I said, we coming in hot, man. We're going to talk back to the gins and the shins, man, and get our frequency up. Talk the Tao and the Daoud and the Taoists, you know what I mean? Talk 72 levels of the Mopai flow, you know what I mean? Talk 5 virtues, 5 elements, 5 emotions, you know what I mean? Talk a little lung is the dragon. Jinn, genies, you know what I mean? We're going to talk elixir fields. We're going to talk dragon bodies, immortal bodies, serpents of wisdoms or dragons of wisdom, Markamaru, pink and flow. Get back in our cities of gold. I mean, we got some stuff to do, man. We got some stuff to do. Hey, shout out to the indigenous Aquas, man. Great picture of the Aqua Pam Greer, man, Bernadette, and Frida Pay, man, you know, natural beauties, natural by law, indigenous Amazon queens, man. And we're talking real morals or morals of the mind.
Painted walls. The building contains 3 rooms, each of which is covered, walls and ceiling, with a virtual encyclopedia of scenes at a Maya court. These murals have enabled scholars to reconstruct much more completely the details of ritual, costume, social custom, and
shout out Aboriginal B. Wow.
And Palenque during the 4th to 9th centuries AD. The pigments have been amazingly preserved by mineral deposits.
The pigments have been amazingly preserved. And look how dark they are, right? Swarthy, copper color.
On the plaster, enabling us to make accurate.
And if you're on the walls of Mexico, then there ain't no Afro-Mexican. We're talking about Mexican. Meshi is Moshe, is Moses. And the Khan is the priest. So the priest of Moses are you.
Renderings to see, for example, that though the Maya were not a notably warlike people, they did carry out military raids and took prisoners, perhaps for religious sacrifice. The hallmark of the classic period, for here is the fabled Bonampak, a name which means in Maya, painted walls. The building contains 3 rooms, each of which is covered, walls and ceiling, with a virtual encyclopedia of scenes at a Maya court. These murals have enabled scholars to reconstruct much more completely the details of ritual, costume, social custom, and life as it was lived in such centers as Tikal, Gophan, and Palenque during the 4th to 9th centuries AD.
Look at this Naga. He's the Mexican. He's the Mexican. So, the people that they have in government today or that they've shipped over and mixed in and had mixed into to make them lighter and lighter and lighter, and now they're the Mexican, now they're the Central American, the Honduras, now they're the Nicaraguan, you know what I'm saying, Costa Rica, whatever the case is. But this is what it looks like. Where did this come from, right? We got to speak up for him or her, right? We got to speak up for them. We're not being racist. They're going to call people, oh, you're reverse racist. Stop it, man. We're prisoners of war asking questions. We ain't trying to embarrass you, but you've been embarrassing us the whole time, saying go back to Africa, savages, slaves, and all this, hanging us from trees, strange fruit. We gonna ask a question. You ain't gonna stop that. You ain't gonna stop nothing over here because it's all happening. Year of the Dragon.
The pigments have been amazingly preserved by mineral deposits on the plaster, enabling us to make accurate renderings. To see, for example, that though the Maya were not a notably warlike people, they did carry out military raids and took prisoners, perhaps for religious.
Oh, stop it. These are the Hebrews, copper color races found here. And this is why America is wholly swarthy. Exclusive of the newcomers. Who wants to take the title? Khan. But if the European is swarthy, Spaniards, you speaking Spanish, right? But the Spaniard, the Italian, the French, the Russian, the Swede, all these people are dark, black. What are you talking? Don't talk to us anymore about what's going on. We swarthy. And we know that it's a swarthy war, a tribal war, a more war. We see what's popping off, man. Yeah, we here now, boss. Wakey. Wakey, man. You found us on the walls, is that right? You found Montezuma here, is that right? Yeah, okay. You found the Aztecs. Yeah, you found the Mexicans. Look at this swarthy nut. Look at them. Look at them smiling. They think I'm from Africa, boss. I know, but you're the jaguar. They think I'm from Africa, boss. I know, but you're the jaguar. The Black Panther, huh? The jaguar. They think we from Africa, right? We talking Palenque, yeah. But you are the cons. You're the jaguar. It's all happening. They just found you in the old world, claim it as their own, and try to repopulate with incubator babies, man. But you are already home. Halal HaWah. Halal HaWah. Halal HaWah. Welcome back. Wakey, wakey, my niggas. Wakey, wakey. You can't argue with the artifacts. You can't. You already home. Halal HaWah. Stay up, suit up, and choose up. And don't be on no static hijack frequency with these incubator babies. You are natural by law. Ahab to the Khan, and then Ahab to all the Khan dynasty. Stand up. Cool. Wow. Halal HaWah. Tribe up.